What's good, guys? Today I'm going to be showing you how to make a neo soul beat from scratch. Neo soul is defined as a style of music that is heavily based in soul, funk, jazz fusion, hip hop, and many other genres. The short way to define the genre is by its R&B influences, deep lyrics, and a strong female presence such as Erykah Badu, Jill Scott, and Amy Winehouse. Even though neo soul as a standalone genre is not as popular as it used to be, there are many big stars today using those influences such as Kendrick, SZA, Daniel Caesar, and many more. In this video, I'll be showing number 1, a neo soul chord progression, number 2, the instrumentation behind it, and finally number 3, the arrangement behind a neo soul beat. So let's get into it. After studying a lot of neo soul music, I found the trickiest part about creating it yourself is the chord progression. Now, I'm not the best at music theory, I just go off on how it makes me feel, so here's this chord progression I made. So I started this progression by picking the bass notes, which go like this. So for the first bass note, I turn this into a C major 9 chord, which in its root position goes like this. Oh wait, no. Like that. And then I just rearranged the order of the notes, so it went from C, E, G, B, D to C, B, D, E, G. And this is what that sounds like. The next chord I played was an F minor 9 in its root position. So F, G sharp, C, D sharp, G. After this I played a D major add 9, D sharp major add 9 chord, which is just a regular D sharp major just with a 9th up here. Then a D minor 7th with an F at the top. And then lastly a C sharp major 7th with an F at the top. If you'd like to study this chord progression, it's available in the free Neo Soul pack that I made in the description. It's going to be all the one-shots and drum sounds from this beat, so check it out. I also repeated this chord progression for the Rhodes and strings. Here are the Rhodes. Here are the strings. So while studying this type of music, I found using real sounding instruments like piano, Rhodes, strings, upright bass, and electric bass sound very well for this style. To make this beat sound nice and full, I decided to layer the piano with strings as I explained before, which sound like this. It's nothing complicated, but it adds excitement and color. For the strings, I used the BBC Orchestra with the violin preset right here with fruity chorus on it, just to give it more color. And then for the pluck strings, just the Pizzicato, I think that's how you pronounce it, Pizzicato preset, and I think, yeah, nothing on it, but just those two things for the strings. For the verses, I played the same progression as the piano, but with Rhodes. I explained that before. I personally love using Rhodes in my production because of how mellow and smooth it sounds. It's also featured in many neo-soul songs. Here's what it sounds like. For these Rhodes, I just used the classic Lounge Lizard EP with the default preset on it. I then used an upright bass as a counter melody to the chord progression, using Trillion AC1 full range. To make the upright sound more authentic, I shifted some of the notes slightly off beat by pressing shift and then scrolling to make it sound like it was recorded from a real instrument. You can hear it here. Last but not least, I used an electric bass to make the bass line. When making this bass line, I basically just added the root notes of the chords, then did a melody up the scale, which sounds like this. For the preset, I used Retro 60s full range and then just put the effect rack on it with the preset Mu Funk Bass Deluxe. Turned it down. When making the drums, I started off with this simple kick, shot, and snap, which sounds like this. To make this sound more realistic, I put the main swing up to 50% and shifted the rim and kick a little bit to also make it sound more realistic. Next, I added the tom, snare, and hi-hat stems off of this drum sample. Here's what the stems sound like together. And here's what it sounds like with my drum pattern. For the intro, I kept it very minimal with just a soft piano and a rain texture. For the verse, I just had the Rhodes, snare, hi-hat, and my drum pattern with strings and the upright bass on the second half. Here's what it sounds like. For the hooks, I had the strings, bass, and piano come together with the drums. Lastly, I just had Rhodes, strings, a tom, and a rim for the outro. And that's it for this video, guys. I hope you learned at least a few things from this video. I have the drums, one shot, and MIDI from this beat in the description if you'd like to download it. And yeah, that's it for today, guys. See you next time.